Hey guys, so I'm just hanging out in bed right now. Really cozy. And I just wanted to share with you guys kind of like my experiences with makeup, starting from the beginning, and then just kind of explain why and when I started to wear makeup. And I'm gonna share a few other like segments, a few other levels, a few other portions of my makeup journey, but what better place to start with than at the beginning? So growing up, I was exposed to makeup through my sister, my older sister Holly, and my mom. Those were the two main influences that I had. So I would see my sister, so my parents separated when I was 3. My sister was my dad's daughter from another relationship, a previous relationship before my mom. So Holly is my half-sister, but she's my sister. And so we would see my dad every other weekend. So she, obviously being 6 years older than me, was getting interested in makeup, and so when I would go to my dad's house and she was there, we would sometimes dabble with makeup. I think the most iconic look was probably the white eyeliner, white kohl, like pencil liner on the upper lash line with mascara, or just black liner in the waterline and mascara, and that's it. Probably like some kind of frosty bubblegum pink lipstick, or whatever lipstick from those like Sears catalog wish book makeup sets. So that was always a really lovely time. I really enjoyed having her do my makeup. It was fun to just like chat and like hear about her crushes and like all the things that I obviously wasn't really going through being 6 years younger. So it was a lot of fun. I loved when we would play with makeup together. And then of course I feel like with a lot of young women, young boys, anybody, a lot of our moms play with makeup as well, or wear makeup. So for me, my mom wore makeup every day, and so it was part of her everyday routine, and I always like would watch her apply makeup and like be so fascinated by all just the different products. I remember like locking myself in the bathroom and playing with her little CoverGirl trio, eyeshadow trios, and then like wiping it off quickly and then unlocking the door and carrying on with my day like nothing had happened. I wasn't actually allowed to wear makeup before the age of 12. I would wear it, like I said, at my dad's when my sister would do it, or like for Halloween, or I remember one time there was like a Christmas play, I believe, in grade 6, and I got to wear mascara. Otherwise it was pretty much just like lip smackers, lip balm, or lip gloss. I think I had a clear mascara too, maybe at one point. So yeah, which brings me to the moment in time when I was 12 years old where I started to wear makeup regularly. And so when I was 12, it was in like the winter months, I believe it was February, I used a product of my mom's. It was like a CoverGirl astringent, the kind of reddish pinkish one. They still carry it to this day. I used that all over my face. I mean, at 12 years old, I had pretty darn good skin. I think I maybe had like a little, I know I had something like a little blemish or whatever, and so I used that to get rid of it, but I put it all over my face and it was way too strong, and I believe that's what caused me to have a breakout, but it could have been, who knows, right? I believe that what you see on the outside has a lot to do with what's going on the inside. At 12 years old, I had dealt with a fair amount, so that could have been just a reflection of some of the turmoil that was going on within me. Who really knows? But I ended up breaking out over my entire face, all down my neck, in this like red 3D type rash, and it was itchy and kind of like stingy and burny. It was really uncomfortable, and it was all over my face. When I went to the doctor, they gave me like an ointment, and they ended up saying, I believe it was some kind of a fungus, so I don't remember like the name of it, but they did give me like an ointment to treat it, and so yeah. But I ended up having that for about a month and a half in total. And so when I went to school with this rash on my face, the group of friends that I was hanging out with at the time, there were boys and girls, started to bully me and make rumors up that I had a meth addiction, that I was doing meth at 12 years old with my hefty allowance. I was able to fund a meth addiction. But for real, like, people were saying this, and all of the people that I was hanging out with, like, stopped hanging out with me and were bullying me online, in person, and saying that that was what was going on. I also had people saying that I was bulimic, which I've always been like tall and thin. That's just what it do, like what it be. And so yeah, it was really fucked up. And at 12 years old, like, it's just a messed up age. Like, your hormones are starting to like kick in, everybody's fucking confused, no one knows what's going on. And obviously, looking back on that situation, like, these kids were going through their own respective shit, their own respective situations, and I know a lot of those kids didn't have like the best things going on at home, or some of them I know for sure. And what do you do when you're young and you're angry and you're hormonal, right? I know I wasn't perfect either, and so that's what happened. And all of my friends at the time stopped talking to me, stopped hanging out with me. I literally had no friends, because this group of friends that I was hanging out with were quite like popular in my public school, and they were kind of mean to the, sorry, my memory card was full. But yeah, the group of friends that I hung out with weren't the nicest to some of the other kids, and I would never stick up for the other kids either. And yeah, so when they stopped talking to me, my friend group, I had no one. I had no friends. I mean, like, seriously. I ended up taking 2 weeks off of school. And this was grade 7, by the way. 12 years old, grade 7, yeah, grade 7. I took 2 weeks off of school to just kind of recover from this rash, this breakout. And when I came back, yeah, like it was so, again, like 12 years old. Picture yourself 12 years old, okay? Small town as well, public school. And you come back after being away for 2 weeks, people saying that you're doing meth, that you're bulimic, all your friends stop talking to you, you come back, and like, I had never felt more alone and isolated ever at that point. And I remember, like, recess came that first day, and I tried to just like putter around in the library. I ended up being told I couldn't like hang out in the library. I had to go outside for recess. Then I was kind of just like walking around in the hallway, and then got told I had to go out. And so I went outside and like I sat by myself on the wall because I had no friends, because everyone, yeah, I don't know, didn't like the fact that my skin had broken out. And eventually, like, the kids that my other friend group were picking on actually befriended me, and it was really nice. And I started to have a new friend group, and I started to understand like what a true friendship was. Even at that age, I know friendships kind of change depending on how old you are and your circumstances, but that was pretty cool. But when I was off on that 2 weeks, like, my mom knew what was going on. She knew all of this stuff that was being said about me, the online bullying, everything. And like, I was, you know, like crying to her about this because it was awful. And I remember going back to school, I asked my mom if I could wear face makeup, like concealer and powder, if I'm not mistaken. And she said yes, because, I mean, in her eyes, like, imagine being the mother of your little girl who's being bullied by this big group of friends, being told that she's doing math, all these crazy things, and then having all of your little daughter's friends stop talking to her, and she has nobody, and she's just spent 2 weeks off of school because she has no friends and because she has this rash, right? So she said yes, I could start wearing makeup on my face to cover up my rash until it kind of went away. And so I did, and I remember like layering on my ointments and then my vitamin E cream, so my skin was like hydrated, because this rash was like super dry and flaky. And then I would put my concealer all over, and then I would powder my face. And I went back, and nobody continued bullying me. Like I said before, they just kind of stopped talking to me and left me alone, which was good. But of course, none of them were trying to be my friend, right? Like, they had made it pretty clear that that was Dunskies. But it was really interesting to me because I was kind of astonished that I had put this makeup on, and I made it look pretty good for being that age. Like, I don't have any pictures showing what I looked like with all the makeup on, but I had covered it up enough that people left me alone. And so the impression that that had on me was, holy crap, like, I'm able to kind of fool people, maybe, I'm not sure if that's the right word, but kind of just like fool people into thinking that, you know, I have clear skin again, and people are leaving me alone. And that mentality and that message has stuck with me since that point. At 25 years old, currently, I have gone through a really dark journey dealing with acne, and that has messed me up in the head. But it makes sense to me now, because when you see what I have gone through, and when I've personally looked at that situation, and I've thought, you know, at that age, I was able to trick people into thinking that I had clear skin, and by putting makeup on, I essentially stopped people from bullying me. And my worth, I felt, came from the way that I looked. All of my friends stopped being my friends because of the way that I looked, because I had something that didn't look normal to them, that was different. And then they left me alone when I started to wear makeup and cover it up. So years later, when I started to have acne on my skin, I can see now how it makes sense how triggering it was for me, because the last time I had something abnormal on my face, I literally was completely abandoned and isolated and hated. And yeah, it just makes so much sense. So that is when and why I started wearing makeup. I was 12, and it was an attempt to stop people from bullying me and to be accepted. And I'm gonna leave that story here. I'm gonna finish that story off, and I would absolutely love and welcome anybody to leave me a comment. Let's start a conversation if you have ever gone through something like that. I know bullying is nothing new. I know a lot of people are bullied, and it fucking sucks. But again, I was the kid who hung out with the people who bullied, and I never stood up for anyone who was being bullied. It took me being bullied to understand really what was going on and how messed up it is. So I've been on both sides, and it's not okay. So I would really appreciate if you guys would, yeah, talk to me. Tell me about your experience. If you feel like what I'm saying relates to you in any way, shape, or form, let me know. You're not alone at all in this. And just a reminder, you are a beautiful expression of life. I am a beautiful expression of life. I was a beautiful expression of life from day one. I was a beautiful expression of life at 12 years old. I've always been, and you've always been. So thank you so much, guys, for listening to me and giving me the opportunity to share this portion of my makeup journey with you. So until I see you next time, I hope you guys have a beautiful day. You are loved and accepted and approved, and you are so beautiful. Bye, guys.